So I'm looking for articles today to do some videos on. It's Sunday, so videos are kind of hit and miss. Topics are a little sparse. I'm going back through the 3 days that I haven't been on. Of course, I did my rest in peace, John Davis. Again, rest in peace, brother. But it's also Sunday, and we got some numbers that came out. But in looking up some stuff for Black Panther, found this interesting article from Polygon. Black Panther Wakanda Forever finally gave us superhero and heroines unbound by men. What? Yes, this article is dripping with misandry, and I have to say it. These people are glad Chadwick is gone. They're glad. And it is sick and disgusting to have this be a thing. Chadwick Boseman was a great actor. And Disney Marvel didn't do what he wanted to recast T'Challa to make him a legacy character on par with James Bond, Batman, these amazing characters that people look up to. No, they just killed him off. They killed off T'Challa. And black man dies, woman most affected. They're glad that he's dead. And that's wrong. That's sick and that is disgusting. Let's get into it though. Black Panther Wakanda Forever finally gave us superheroines unbound by men. I already read that. Anyways, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has struggled to set proper stage for its women characters. For 10 years, MCU fans watched as some of their favorite characters stayed in supporting roles. We wanted a Black Widow movie, but you guys waited too long. While the ensemble more financially viable and narratively essential men went on to have multiple sequels, but lately, slowly, women-led Marvel titles have been on an uptick in cinemas and on Disney streaming platforms. MCU all the way. Remember, these people hated the idea of MCU. They hate it when it's calling it. Now they're rejoicing in it. They've accepted that they killed off the men. They undermined the dudes because they wanted to promote their crappy female characters who in the comics, time and time again, have failed. This is 100% MCU. And the movies are suffering because of it. Everything's suffering because of it. But now I'm getting to the stage of apathy. I'm reaching the stage of apathy where I don't care. Just, it's done. I don't care. You could do all sorts of stuff, and I don't care. I'll make a video on it, but I don't care. Because DC is on the rise, baby. Slowly, women-led streaming platforms. And with Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Wakanda's greatest resource is realized to forge a first in MCU history heroines unburdened by origin story. You had an origin story. You had an origin for Shuri's Black Panther, you dum-dum. Who also required a man. The call to inner girl super, I don't know why you put that there, but it's the call to inner girl power. It's girl power 100%. As liberating as that can be, limits the scope of stories viable for women in the superhero genre. No, but that's what you're doing. You're doing girl power constantly. There are other stories you could do that don't revolve you guys doing the hero's journey. You know, like Captain Marvel. You could do a more thoughtful piece. But you don't. By exploring the lives of powerful women and unimaginable peril. Wakanda Forever makes truly major players out of women for the first time. No, they're ridiculous. The untimely passing of Chadwick Boseman, who originally played the Black Panther, caused a riptide of emotions throughout black nerddom. Why is it only black nerddom? We were all affected. His passing posed two questions. Who would take over the mantle? And would Marvel decide to recast T'Challa? They really should have. That's what Chadwick Boseman wanted. Some fans feared what an MCU would look like without King T'Challa. I mean, he is important, a seminal character in the Marvel comic books. But inside the film's production, the cast and crew reportedly mourned their friend and creative partner, and Wakanda Forever, in its final form, shows that they would not gloss over his absence. No, they profited off of it. They made his passing a plot point, and they profited off of it. They profited off of your emotions. They brought his dead body out. They practically brought out his casket and paraded it around and said, look, he's dead, guys, he's dead. Give us money, give us money. That is disgusting. You didn't pay homage to him. You had T'Challa die in the exact same way that Boseman did. Boseman kept it a secret because he was a strong man and he wanted to represent something. He wanted to be this person for people to look up to. And you guys treated him like a joke. You guys are disgusting. Ryan Coogler, who wrote Black Panther Wakanda Forever script with Joe Robert Cole, explored that grief through water. The purifying waters of a flood, waters as a source of life, and waters of the mother's womb. While all Wakandan mourns T'Challa, it's the woman in his life who do the heavy lifting for the audience. Black man dies, women most affected. T'Challa's mother, Ramonda, his sister Shuri, his partner Nakia, and his General Okoye all mourn in their own unique ways. Marvel's first film, led by women, emerged out of tremendous grief. You guys manipulated us. You are sick monsters. It's not the first all-female team-up in the MCU, or the first female-led film, but it's the first to break out of a certain mold. What mold was that? What mold was that, huh? Because you're not telling us what this mold was. You use Black Widow as an example, but Black Widow was a disaster of a movie too. We wanted a Black Widow movie beforehand, but guess what we got? We got a Captain Marvel movie. That was shit. We wanted a super cool espionage thriller of Black Widow, but you waited till she was dead to put it out. You are just sick individuals. And Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, had the courage to wield her power and make peace with the past. What peace? What past? She had a family. She went back to go find a new family. She had a family already. Noble pursuit, but overused in this genre, particularly in stories about women. It's overused because it usually works, but that wasn't what Black Widow did. Black Widow went back. But Black Widow's whole movie was her going back to a family that she apparently had, was forced upon her, but in all reality, she had a new family. It was the Avengers. You could have done something so much cooler with Black Widow having to deal with her past. It's not only just women who do this, having to settle with their past. Guys do it too. Okay? There are tons of characters that have to go back and settle these demons of their past. Berserk, one of the greatest mangas of all time, one of its big things is Guts' past, the Golden Age saga. And how that has affected the current story. God. The same basic plot points come in She-Hulk. What plot was in She-Hulk? Miss Marvel didn't even bother watching it, and what past did she have? WandaVision, yeah, that was there, but that was all, my vibrator's mad, so I'm gonna enslave a town. And Captain Marvel, a disastrous movie that's all that, I'm awesome. Everybody needs to remember I'm awesome. I think I'm less awesome. I'm awesome again. Compared to Captain America, the first Avenger, oh, this is where it gets good. Steve gets superpowers overnight, but he's never made to question how to use them, nor is he made to feel badly about his past. He doesn't just get superpowers overnight. Polygon. He doesn't do that. That's not what happens. What happens is he proves himself worthy of this. He was not allowed to go fight in World War II because he was tiny, scrawny, and couldn't do anything. He wanted to fight. He was a hero. He was willing to sacrifice himself to save others. He was proven to be a hero. And that's what he did. He then was put on a circuit to try to just do the VA shows, I think is what they're called. But, you know, those shows that they go around to just hype up the troops. Oh, yeah, go do your job. He didn't like that. He wanted to be out there leading the charge against, the German people, against Hydra. He had a story and had to prove to himself that he was worthy, had to prove to others that he was the right choice. Doctor Strange powers cure the inadequacy he feels after his hands are mangled and he loses his ability to perform surgery. You're kind of right, but also extremely wrong. Doctor Strange's story was learning that, hey, there's more to life than yourself. He was a very egocentric narcissist that only cared about surgery and being this top amazing surgeon. When he had his hands broken, he went to Carmartage to get them fixed because that's all he cared about, was being this number one dude, this all-powerful dude. But then he learned that he can do other good and not be the center of attention all the frickin' time. God. The only male Avenger who goes through a similar arc is Iron Man. His powers reside in his immense wealth, and he must decide how to wield it so that it doesn't further damage the world. Yeah, you do Iron Man good, but you did Captain America and Doctor Strange dirty there. In contrast, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Actually, no, you didn't even go into his demons. The dark side of everything, the fact that he was dying in Iron Man 2 and had to find a whole new element, and how he was dealing with that. You didn't go into his alcoholism. You didn't go into any of that, though. Back to this. In contrast, Black Panther Wakanda Forever features 4 women who hold veteran positions of power. Okoye leads the Dora Milaje warriors as their general. Nakia, retired from the ranks of Wakanda's most elite spies, starts a school in Haiti. Shuri has led the Wakandan science delegation since she was a teenager. As a nation, Wakanda's respect for women resides in the many women leaders who sit on the High Council and their positions in military and spy networks. Oh, so it's the women's fault that they didn't, because you guys like to point out the racism and how fantastic it is that this nation wasn't enslaved and how slavery is bad and everything. So it's the women's fault that the Wakandans didn't protect the people from Africa from the slave trade. It's the Wakandans' fault. Got it. It's all the women. They did that. None of these characters question if they possess power. No, because they know they possess power and they're maniacal in it. They're tyrants. Or if they should possess power. No, because they're tyrants. They don't think they should. They just do. And no one questions why have that power unless based on their individual failures. They're awful people. When they succeed together, there's an overwhelming feeling of victory. What? No. When have they succeeded? Huh? Because you can point to the movies, I see them constantly failing. They're awful individuals. Not because of girl power, Sheen. Yeah, it is actually because of girl power, Sheen. We're becoming rooted in their identity allowed them to triumph over those who threatened it. It's the victory of those who triumph by being who they are, not finding out who they are. But finding out who they are is the story. And you guys are pushing it as, well, it's a girl power. Girl boss. They're better because they're women. They're all better than the men. Because men are just evil. And also, not finding out who they are. No, that is the story. Who are you? Who are you? Not what are you? Who are you? You're more than just skin deep, genitalia, who you sleep with and all that. Who are you? Who are you as the individual? Wakanda Forever breathes this idea from its earliest scene, as in when Queen Ramonda stands before the UN and says, "We hear what you whisper in your halls. The king is dead. They are weak." Oh yeah, but you don't acknowledge how basically Queen Ramonda threatens them all. You don't acknowledge how she comes out and basically says, "Hey, you know what? We could kill you all." That's basically what it is. Because they are rightfully worried about your immense vibranium technology that can be turned into weapons. They're worried about you. You are off check. You go do whatever the heck you want to do. And then demonstrates for all to see that despite all its losses between Black Panther and now, Wakanda's strength has remained intact. The toll of civic duty and personal sacrifices continues to impact each woman's journey in Wakanda forever. Personal sacrifices. What did Ramonda sacrifice? She had people pass away. You guys could have saved T'Challa. You chose not to because you wanted Shuri to be T'Challa. To be Black Panther, I mean. As compelling as watching young women step into their power can be, it is only the first step in a long journey. The weight carrying by the heroes in Wakanda Forever is constantly evident, and it's exactly the thing that makes a hero worth watching. What? The weight carried by heroes in Wakanda Forever is constant. No, because these people aren't heroes. These people are tyrants and villains. These people are awful. They force people to bend to their will. Toni Morrison once, I don't know why they put this in here, because it's all about racisms. Toni Morrison once said, the very serious function of racism is distraction. It really is, because that's what you guys are pushing right now. You are forcing us to separate ourselves based on race. You want us to be separated out based on race, sexuality, gender, things of that nature, just to distract us. You guys are doing this, not us. It keeps you from doing your work. Yeah. I'm not going to read all of this because it's just talking about how racism's evil and bad and bigoted and how it doesn't do all this stuff. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And then guess what you do? Something similar is at play when only the start of a woman's journey is deemed the only portion worth telling. They wrap this quote about racism that I kind of agree in, They say, well, that's what misandry is. No, that's what misogyny is. No. These people don't care. Misogyny will impact how others view a woman in power, but it does not define her. We don't view these people in power through misogyny. We're viewing them as they are portrayed as tyrants and monsters and awful people. We like going to this over and over again, and the fact that Disney just killed off T'Challa because Chadwick died. Yet they're recasting a bunch of other people. No. Why didn't you just freeze him and then work on a cure? You did that for Bucky. You did that for for the Winter Soldier. You guys have the ability to pull a bullet out of somebody's spine and give him the ability to walk again just by jamming vibranium into his back. How are you guys good people? You guys are monsters. There's this whole thing where you're talking about colonizers over and over again. You're the reason. How do you guys even know anything about colonizers? 2, you're the reason your country might have been colonized. You're the reason your country had a slave trade. You didn't stop it. You're the strongest nation in all of Africa, and you didn't stop it. That's your own fault. In the same way that racism impacts why Wakanda wished to remain hidden for centuries. No, it doesn't. It's not because of racism. It's because you guys are monsters and you wanted to hoard this unlimited power. Racism had nothing to do with it. You have no concept of racism. You see, racism exists live in the world, and in fact, a lot of Africa is racist to each other. That's a fun fact. But when we think of racism, we think of it through an American lens. Racism doesn't have the same impacts in like the UK, where things look different. Things are just different. There's differences in the world. So when you say that this African country cared about racism so much, you're taking that from the American lens instead of their lens, when they're fighting each other constantly because somebody has maybe a wrong-shaped nose. I kid you not. That's how awful it is over there. It's not because somebody's dark or anything. It's because they don't like them. Wakanda could have set that all straight, but they chose not to. But did not color how Wakanda lived their day-to-day lives. Yeah, as monsters who didn't stop anything. When prejudice is the primary hurdle a character must overcome. I don't know why I said for. When prejudice is the primary hurdle a character must overcome, we miss what makes them unique individuals. Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. When it's only prejudice, we don't see who you are. There has to be other factors to it. We miss her shadows, the demons she must face, and the wrongs she needs to right within herself. Yeah, I agree. I agree with this part. That is the journey of being a human, and it is why people watch superheroes. 100% agree. So why didn't we get that? When Nakia and Shuri work together, they build on years of their relationship. What relationship? I've never known them to have a relationship. Bonded in sisterhood and loss. How are they sisters? We don't know anything about how they interact with each other. You force it upon us. They say, oh, we have this huge history together. What history? What are you talking about? This pairing drives the narrative, and therefore spectacle never enters the conversation. Yeah, it is a spectacle, though. Again, when you pair that loss part, it is a spectacle because you have to remember this whole movie is profiting off of your emotions that Chadwick died. And as their response to Chadwick's death, that is the spectacle. And also the fact, again, speaking of spectacle, the fact that they're all women. That is the spectacle. They are not individuals. You treat them as nothing more than skin color and body parts. That's all you have treated them as. Because if you look at them at an individual level, they are awful individuals. The story focuses to humans processing loss and learning how to live without the being who impacted their impacted their worldview most. Yeah, like you wanted us to feel. For all their flying and laser beam eyes, it's the self that truly inspires superhero audiences. Yes, again. Yes, the individual impacts on themselves, but this movie didn't have that. God. Wakanda's strength have always laid within its women. If T'Challa stood at this country's human embodiment, it's only to show that clearly. It's only to show that clearly. What? Basically, what they're saying here is T'Challa is the human element. So that means Nakia gave T'Challa his heart, Ramonda his life, Shuri his armor, and Okoye operated his number one in the field. You diminish T'Challa doing this. T'Challa is an individual. T'Challa led the country. T'Challa is something else. But now you're saying, well, T'Challa's not just that. T'Challa isn't amazing just because he's T'Challa. T'Challa's amazing because all these other people are what made him amazing, not T'Challa. I hate this. When women are essential to the story, they move beyond a quota to fill. But they are a quota. This whole movie is a quota. And become humans to celebrate, fear and admire. Yeah, I do fear these people. I fear these people a lot. If Queen Ramonda and all these people were real, I would be terrified of them. These women and women like them should be the ones to continue building the Marvel Cinematic Universe, building the MCU. You know what, Polygon? I agree. Let's continue down this road because the more you do it, the more people turn away from it. And I have evidence, buddy. Black Panther week 2. And it's fantastic drop off because those numbers are fully in. Guess how it dropped off? Guess. Week over week. Friday night, 78.8% drop. Saturday night, 48.3% drop. Sunday, 50.2% off. You are losing people. Your movie's going to make a profit, tiny profit. But there's a difference between movie profit and movie success and Disney success. This movie will not be a box office bomb or a box office flop. But what it will be is a Disney bomb and a Disney flop. Because unless these movies make $1 billion, unless these are $1 billion movies, you're not doing well. You can't fund everything else. People don't want what you're putting out. What Polygon is rejoicing in, people are turning away from. And before you say, well, this movie will definitely get there, less people are also going to watch this movie. You also have to take that into account. Less people are watching Wakanda Forever. Why is that? Because inflation's so high. Why is less? And ticket prices are going up. Not just because ticket prices were already going up and you had that whole AMC thing where they say they're going to start charging more for these high budget movies and these awesome movies. No, ticket prices are just going up, period. So less people are going to see this movie. So it might be bringing in big dough, but less people are seeing it. So this movie isn't doing well. This movie is tracking to not make its $1 billion. It will make money. It will make a little bit of money. It ain't going to make the money that Disney wants it to make. And with that, guys, give me your thoughts down in the comments below. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Share it out with all your friends. Hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video and go live. And I will see you on the next one. Bye for now.